goodness. Monday Night Raw, ladies and gentlemen. Quebec City. Loud crowd tonight. I thought the show was better than last week's. Oh man, I said something good. The negativity police are coming after me. I thought Raw was good. I thought Raw was good, man. A lot to discuss tonight. Asuka, Kyrie possibly going heel on EO. I'm all for it. I actually pitched this going into the Queen of the Ring final. We got the main event for Clash in Paris. It's not a triple threat. It's not a tag team match. It's a fatal four-way. Also, Naomi is not medically cleared, whatever that means. I don't know what's happening to the match with Stephanie Vicaire. Sami went one-on-one with Rusev for the first time since 2017. And CM Punk, LA Knight, man, the chemistry was there. We'll talk about it. We'll go to the beer garden tonight. Dax is not invited. Our good buddy Dax. You know Dax. Yeah, we'll talk about him. Ladies and gentlemen, I got one question on this Monday night. What the fuck are you guys drinking? I'll see you over there.
Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking.
What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your Monday Night Raw post show for August 11th, 2025. I am your host, JD from New York, as always, coming to you live from the OTS Beer Garden. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on this Monday evening, wherever you may be. Monday Night Raw. Before the negativity police infiltrate the venue, I enjoyed the show tonight. To an extent, I enjoyed the show. I thought last week's show was fucking boring. I thought Friday Night SmackDown was even worse. One of the worst shows that WWE put on all year was Friday Night SmackDown. An absolute colossal waste of 2 hours. Thank God they got back somewhat on the right track tonight. I enjoyed the in-ring aspect of tonight's Monday Night Raw. I thought tonight's Raw was a very good in-ring product. Sky and Roxanne Perez, I thought they had a great TV match. I thought they both had a very good night. Sami Zayn and Rusev, I enjoyed what they did. I enjoyed what both of those guys did tonight. Tag team match in the main event. Can they coexist, pal? One of those deals. CM Punk and LA Knight, after last week's debacle of a main event where CM Punk cost LA Knight the World Heavyweight Championship, they tried to coexist tonight as tag team partners against the Shula Fala and the tribal thief himself, Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. I thought that was a good TV match as well. We got some decent in-ring action tonight. Can't really take away from the in-ring. And I thought WWE told some decent stories tonight as far as what's going on heading into Clash in Paris. We got the main event for Clash in Paris already set. Now, last week we discussed that it could be one of three options. It could be a triple threat match between Seth Rollins, LA Knight, and CM Punk, being that they were involved in last week's main event fiasco. It could be a six-man tag team match with Roman Reigns or Jey Uso involved against Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Seth Rollins. And the other team would be Punk, Knight, Uso, or Punk, Knight, Roman. WWE is going and doing the one thing that nobody really suggested. I don't know why Jey Uso needs to be in a world championship match. I don't know what he's done to be in a world championship match. Why is he in another world championship match? I don't know. He has nothing to do with the world championship. He should not be anywhere near that world title. We've been there and done that. I have no problem with Jey, but I think him and his name attached to the World Heavyweight Championship is going to give fans a little bit of a same old shit feeling. We got more than enough at the top of the card to get us through Clash in Paris, into Perth, and into Survivor Series. We don't need Jey Uso. WWE announced the Fatal 4-Way. It is going to be Jey Uso versus CM Punk versus LA Knight versus Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. Sounds like a good match. Sounds like a good match. Should be a great main event. And I'm assuming that Uso is there to take the pin. Just looking at the competitors in the match, I would say that is what's probably going to happen. Punk is not going to get pinned, and LA Knight is not going to get pinned, because why would they do that? I feel like Uso's there to take the pinfall. Where Roman Reigns fits into all this, because they wrote him off television. Now, I mentioned a week and a half ago that the latest report was Roman Reigns is not going to begin filming for his upcoming role as Akuma in Street Fighter until September. I seemingly had thrown this out there a couple weeks ago on this very platform here on Monday night. And I do feel like when he does that, he'll take the month of September off, and we'll go and get him included in Clash in Paris. Now that they announced, A, Roman Reigns is going to be at Clash in Paris, B, they announced the main event without Roman Reigns, I mean, it just opens up the possibility of Roman Reigns going after one of the two Brauns. It's either going to be Roman versus Braun Breaker, which I don't think they're going to do that right now, or they're going to do Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed, which makes a lot more sense, being that he now has two pairs of Roman's Nikes, and he's basically tsunami'd him into oblivion the last few times that we've seen them both in the ring. So I'm leaning towards Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed at Clash in Paris. It's pretty much making for a decent fucking card on August 31st. Just looking at what we've been given so far. Fatal 4-way for the World Heavyweight Championship. Cody Rhodes versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. John Cena versus Logan Paul. We'll probably get Roman Reigns versus Bronson Reed. We'll probably get Becky Lynch versus Nikki Bella. If Naomi is back in time, which I'm assuming she will, it will be Naomi defending her championship against Stephanie Vicaire. We could be looking at Rhea Ripley and Io Sky versus Asuka and Kairi Sane. And maybe Sami Zayn versus Solo Sikoa for the United States Championship. What? They're both on two different shows? Yeah, I guess WWE doesn't care. I don't know what to fucking tell you. You would think Sami Zayn's a SmackDown guy. Apparently, he's going after the United States Championship. I don't know. Clash in Paris is looking like a very, very good show. And I think WWE did a decent enough job to push us forward here. It's already August 11th. We have 3 more weeks to go here. I think WWE's done a very good job of building this card and piecing this puzzle together. The biggest thing that happened on tonight's show, honestly, outside of the main event, which resulted in yet another Monday night going off the air with a disqualification finish. They can't book the ending of this show to be fresh, different, and new to save their lives. It's always the same ending to this show. There's always a beatdown. There's always a 3-on-2 beatdown or a 2-on-1 beatdown. There's always somebody causing a disqualification. I hate it. There's no clear winners anymore. They just go right to a DQ. It's all right if people lose, bro. It's all right if people lose. I don't understand why they just go right to a DQ. The biggest takeaway tonight was the continuation of last week's Fallout. CM Punk didn't say anything last week, and that was the Fallout show coming out of SummerSlam at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. CM Punk got robbed at SummerSlam. You would think that immediately he had words to say to Seth Rollins, being that Rollins pulled off the ruse of the century. He didn't say anything. Rollins cashed in. Punk showed up. They made a match with LA Knight and Seth Rollins in the main event last week. Punk decided to just get at Rollins in that main event and cause a DQ. This week he had something to say, though. But as soon as he started talking, LA Knight comes out and basically gives CM Punk a piece of his mind, because what Punk did last week was ruin LA Knight's chance at the World Heavyweight Championship. I thought their on-screen chemistry was great. This was the second time, I would say, that I think we've seen CM Punk and LA Knight on the same screen, on the same show. I thought their on-screen chemistry was really, really good. The thing is, I felt like the promo segment could have been a lot better. And what I mean is, Punk is one of the best promos ever. LA Knight is a great promo. I honestly feel like, and I don't know if I'm the only one feeling this way, but as I was watching, I felt like they didn't really want to go too hard on one another because they are both baby faces. And at times I felt like Punk wanted to say something, but he held back. And LA Knight wanted to say something, but he held back. And I know if they were going out there all guns blazing, no handcuffs, no restrictions, I think they'd bury each other in the most entertaining way that we've seen in many, many, many months between two guys on the microphone. What resulted in great on-screen chemistry also resulted in them holding back, and it almost came off as if they were forgetting some of their lines, or they were trying to remember what they had to say, or maybe they didn't want to say what they wanted to say, and they tried to revert in the moment, on the spot, to something else, and it didn't really translate as well as it should have, at least from my point of view. But what we got was a tag team match that was made in the beginning of the show that took place at the end of the show, so they got from point A to point B. I don't have a problem with the main event. I don't. LA Knight, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Jey Uso. That's the main event for Clash in Paris. That leaves Roman Reigns open to beating Bronson Reed and getting his shoes back, which should be a great match. It all makes sense. WWE is slow dripping this feud and these tensions between the baby faces and the heels because we have to get through Paris. We obviously then have Braun Breaker and Roman Reigns still on the horizon. They're saving that for when, I don't know. We'll get through Paris. Apparently, there's another PLE that's taking place on September 20th, the same day as AEW All Out. Now, I don't know what that is. According to Post Wrestling, supposedly, WWE is scheduled to be giving us another PLE on September 20th, which I don't really understand why. Clash in Paris is taking place on August 31st. And now we're going into another PLE on September 20th, legitimately less than 3 weeks before Clash in Paris is over. Why are we bunching these shows together? We don't know what exists in September, but they're trying to get us through Paris, into whatever that show is, if that's really the deal, into Perth, and then into Survivor Series, where War Games will be contested. And you can see what the War Games teams are going to look like. Will they remain the same? I don't know. Jey Uso, Roman Reigns, LA Knight, CM Punk. Is there going to be a fifth on the babyface side? Might be Sami Zayn against The Vision. Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker. Who joins that faction? Who joins that fight? The fight alongside the heels for War Games. That's going to come at a later date. We'll discuss that when we get closer to Survivor Series. But you see that the makeup of all this and the centerpiece of their television is this angle and this faction. The babyfaces and the heels, they're all set. We got another cast of characters to potentially add, but WWE is going to slow burn this. The thing is, we got so many weeks in between these PLEs that WWE constantly gives us the same ending to these shows, and it doesn't come off as important. They don't leave you with a great cliffhanger. Where is the cliffhanger to these weekly shows? Where is that, oh man, I can't wait to watch what happens next week? It's the same thing every single week. The heels get the beatdown on the baby faces, and they go off the air with the heel champion holding up the championship to a chorus of boos. We'll see you next week. Or Roman Reigns comes back after they write him off television for 2 or 3 weeks to make his momentous, heroic return to save the baby faces from yet another beatdown. How many times have we seen that? Well, the baby faces go off the air and they chase the heels away, and they stand tall for one night as the show goes off the air. It's the same shit. In none of these instances, in none of these stories, is there a reason to get excited about next week's show? Where are the consequences? Where is the cliffhanger? Where is the drama? They don't give a shit. Let me do as little as possible. Let me do as much. Let me do as little as I can and not as much as I need to get us into the PLE, because everybody's going to show up exactly at 8 p.m. next week, and everybody's going to watch the pay-per-view come August 31st. There's no reason for them to book a cliffhanger or drama at the end of the show. And that's honestly what brings the show down for me. There really isn't that one thing that you can latch onto and say, oh man, I can't wait to watch next week. It's the same fucking shit. It's the same shit. How do you get excited about this? Legitimately, anybody can come up with these ideas and theories to close Monday Night Raw. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this shit out. Why do they go and do so little effort to close the show going into next week and don't really leave you with a reason to care or watch next week? That's why these shows feel so flat. There's no drama. Everything is just there. Everything is just very simplified. Let me tell as basic of stories as I can, because our audience is fucking stupid. That's what it has basically boiled down to. I don't like the current direction of what we're doing. I don't. I honestly feel like things are way too simplified, too careless, too safe as usual. There's no drama. There's no consequences to anything that's happening here. I don't know how you guys feel, but again, we use the term every single week. It's very predictable. It really is. Naomi was written off tonight's show. I don't know why. Apparently, she is not medically cleared. I don't know what's occurred with Naomi. I don't know if she's injured. I don't know if she's fallen ill. I don't know. They didn't mention anything about being in a position to strip her of the championship. But I know she was supposed to defend the championship against Io Sky tonight, one-on-one, and they went with Roxanne versus Io and basically played out the same ending that we were going to get in the Naomi match with the Roxanne match. So hopefully she's all right, because I'm very interested to see what they do with Naomi and Stephanie Vaquer going into Clash of Paris. She did earn that right. Stephanie did, winning the Battle Royal at Evolution. So I'm assuming if Naomi is good to go, which I'm assuming she will be, because we didn't really see or hear anything in regards to her status. Nobody made it out to be a big deal. She was just this week not medically cleared. So hopefully everything is all right there. If there's any news, obviously, we'll let you know. But as of right now, it is a nothing burger. And we will see what happens going into next week. Speaking of Io, there may be a heel turn for the Kabuki Warriors, which I pitched an idea for Asuka to go heel coming out of the Queen of the Ring final against Jade Cargill. I think that is the right move. I think Asuka needs something different. I think Asuka needs something a little bit different than what she has been doing. If a heel turn with Kyrie is the direction, that opens up Io to still maintain her relationship with Rhea. And man, what a match that would be. Kyrie and Asuka versus Rhea and Io. Tag team match. I could absolutely see something like that occurring. Who knows where that goes on into the future? We'll see what happens. But it looks like WWE may be getting ready to turn Asuka and Kyrie into a heel duo. Bayley may be turning heel. We got some glimpses and teases of Bayley maybe sinking deep into depression. She's blaming herself. And when you're down on your luck and you got nothing else to lose, that is the most dangerous individual. Bayley may be going back to being a heel. And if anybody grew up and watched the product with Bayley as a heel coming out of the role model days and the hugger days, you know that Bayley was fucking great as a heel. It took us a little bit to get used to it, but when she settled into what she needed to do, Bayley was a great fucking heel. So we may be seeing teases of that. There was a great vignette with Bayley. So there's a great direction there. Hopefully we get what we need to out of that. And I thought Monday Night Raw was a solid show, man. They forwarded some stories. Clash in Paris is looking like a very good show. I don't really have any complaints outside of the very predictable nature of the show and the fact that they don't really have any drama. There's no consequences at the end of the show. They don't really leave you with wanting more at the end of the show. I mean, this has been a common problem. A common problem. But I thoroughly enjoyed the in-ring aspect of Monday Night Raw. They did forward some stories tonight. We'll go over it all tonight. I want to thank you guys for joining me here on the Monday Night Raw post show right here on Off the Script. It is your Monday, August 11th, 2025. You know, I have, in some ways, taken a step back from social media. Sometimes you get too ahead of yourself. Sometimes you just kind of get lost and you find yourself scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and you feel like you need to be involved in everything and in every discussion. And honestly, to a point, you know, none of this shit really matters to me at this point in time. Like, pro wrestling to me is fucking boring. There's nothing exciting going on. There's always some sort of drama. There's always some sort of bullshit. I don't care. I barely tweeted during Dynamite. Barely tweeted during Dynamite. I didn't even bother tweeting during SmackDown because the fucking show sucks. And I barely tweeted tonight during Monday Night Raw outside of me tweeting after Io and Roxanne finished and said that I thought tonight was a very good professional wrestling show, which I've stated twice tonight. It was a good night for the in-ring action. Last Friday, I tweeted at one of my favorite bands, Trivium. And if you don't know who Trivium is, you're lost. One of my favorite bands, Trivium, put out an absolute fucking banger of a new single. Bury Me With My Screams. I urge you to go check it out if you're into that type of thing. I tweeted that the band has been consistent. The band has been very consistent. They put out great albums. Great album. What the Dead Men Say, In the Court of the Dragon. I mean, Sin in the Sentence. I mean, some of these albums are some of the best work of their career. And they really put out, they were very mediocre outside of their first two albums. I would say they've been very mediocre. A lot of great stuff in their catalog, but what they're producing now is really good stuff. I put out a tweet on Friday saying, man, there's no band that's been as consistent as Trivium. And I'm fortunate enough that Matt Heafy, the lead singer from Trivium, is following me on Twitter. So I added him. And Baron Corbin, Bishop Dyer, who's also a good dude. I haven't seen eye to eye when he was working with WWE. He's a good dude, man. Good mind. I'm wishing him nothing but the best on the indies. Steaks, whiskeys, great taste in music. He's a good fucking dude, bro. He really is. Great coffee, by the way, as well. Open air coffee, go check it out. Bishop Dyer tweeted me on Friday on my Trivium post. And I put something out. I put a little clip of the music video out. Great band. Matt Heafy's my boy. He has something to do with his theme music at some point in his career. That's excellent. I liked it. I retweeted it. Dax is in the thread. He says, ew, gross. You talk to this guy. Bro, I didn't tweet about pro wrestling basically all week, outside maybe a tweet or a tweet here or a tweet there. And it's something that I find to be one of my interests, music. And one of the things that I like outside pro wrestling, which is heavy metal music, Trivium. And he's in the thread talking to somebody else who he used to work with, who's now on Busted Open Radio, telling this guy, ew, you talk to this guy. All I have to say is, when you hear any negativity coming from that locker room towards me, and I haven't tweeted about AEW in a few weeks now, and my tweet wasn't even about pro wrestling, the quicker you realize that I am not the problem, I never was the problem, and I am never going to be the problem. When you realize that I am not the problem and that they are, the easier this social media thing will be for you. All of this gets lost in translation. When I tweet about something else that's not pro wrestling and I still get people in my mentions like that causing a problem, that's when you need to realize that I am not the problem. So that's that. Fucking weird, man. It's weird. And these are the people that try to cut me down every single fucking time, and I'm in my own lane, doing my own thing, and they're still there. What exactly did I say, chat? Rent free. I own all the property on the Dax Monopoly board, bro. Every single one of them. Just wanted to get that out there. The other thing is Killer Cross, Karrion Kross. I did a video on it today. His documentary was fantastic. I watched it last night from bed. Hour and 10 minutes, hour and 11 minutes, whatever it is. Go check it out. Great watch. Gives you insight into who he is, how he is, the type of person he is with his fan base, his mentality, life after WWE, up until his contract expiration going into SummerSlam. Go check it out. And then I did a video today, so go check that out as well, man. We did excellent on today's video. I could not have broke it down any better than today's video. If you guys want all the Karrion Kross news, including my thoughts on the documentary with some key takeaways and key points from the documentary and what I feel is a work. Go and check that out, man. Well worth your time. I put a lot of effort into that video, so make sure you guys go and check that out. It's all on the homepage right now, along with anything else that you might have missed. Tuesday Night Titans tomorrow night. Jason and I got a shit ton of news to go over. It's going to be nice to sit down and talk about the news and not a review of a show or spend 3 hours talking about SummerSlam or Evolution or All In. It's going to be one of those first weeks in a while where we just sit down and talk about the rumors and the news. Looking forward to it. That's tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, Tuesday Night Titans. Myself and the one and only Solid Monster. Tuesday night. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Go check out the content like I said. Leave me a comment down below. Hit the thumbs up. We got 500 likes. We got 2,300 people in here. Let's try for 1,000 likes tonight on the Monday Night Raw post. Super chats are open. Get them on in. It's the best way to support the show. And tonight we are sponsored by Blue Chew. BlueChew.com. Code JD at checkout. All you need to do is pay the $5 shipping and handling. You don't want to be a Dax softwood in the bedroom. You want to be... You know what? Never mind. Code JD at checkout. Don't go soft like Dax. That's all I got to say. Monday Night Raw. Let's get into this, man. We start the show off. It was advertised that CM Punk was going to start the show off, and that's exactly what he did tonight. Punk is out there. Montreal was Friday. Quebec City here. We got CM Punk in the ring. He said, their cheers make it hard for him to be angry that he's not the champion who should be representing this company. He said he has a Seth Rollins problem. The so-called visionary, he can't even see that he's trying to be CM Punk. He says he can't help but feel he let fans down. He said, if you thought before he was obsessed with becoming champion, he is even more possessed to regain the world championship now. They say hate the player, not the game. He says he doesn't hate the game, but he sure hates the player, Seth Rollins. He said he pretended to be injured so everyone would let their guard down, but when he gets his hands on him, he won't have to pretend to be injured because I am going to break your legs. LA Knight interrupts CM Punk. Crowd loves both Punk and LA Knight. He gets in the ring and Knight offered a handshake to CM Punk. Punk shook LA Knight's hand. Punk then asked if he had something to say. Oh, of course I got something to say. He said everyone knows Punk was robbed after rising to the moment to become the World Heavyweight Champion once again at SummerSlam. He says he deserves to have his rematch. Knight said last week during his match with Seth, he couldn't contain himself, and he attacked Seth Rollins. You got me disqualified. You cost me my opportunity. I understand it. Wrong place, wrong time, though. He says they don't have a problem. I'd like to keep it that way. He told him to whip Seth's ass, but do it on his time after the bell rings. He said Punk deserves a rematch, but only after he gets his rematch for the World Heavyweight Championship. Punk says he sees his perspective, but he says he should be thanking him for saving his career and life by interrupting what Rollins was going to do to LA Knight. Now, if you guys missed last week's show, Seth Rollins pulled up the ring mat and was about to deliver a stomp on the concrete. CM Punk jumped in at that right time and saved LA Knight from a curb stomp on the concrete. That's what Punk is talking about, and that's when he calls the disqualification. He asked if he thought he was going to win the title after getting his head stomped and cracked open like a coconut on the concrete. "You're welcome," said CM Punk. He said a former world champion, he's ahead of him in the line because he's a former world champion. Knight says it's been a 12-year-long drought, and it's been long overdue. But Knight says he's due first because he's never won the title. He says he's going to do him 2 favors. He says he'll forget last week ever happened as long as he doesn't do it again and doesn't step over the line. He says he'll go beat Seth first and become the world champion. And when he wins the world championship, he'll come back to CM Punk and he will then give Punk a title match. And that will be LA Knight's first successful title defense as the world heavyweight champion. Punk says he doesn't want a problem with LA Knight. He then calls himself the best in the world. And then at that point, Paul Heyman interrupted. And Punk said, "I'm not done yet," as Paul Heyman interrupted. Heyman, Braun Breaker, and Bronson Reed walked out to the stage. Bronson Reed has 2 pairs of Nikes around his neck. He's the tribal thief. He is the owner of the Shula Fala. And Braun Breaker, he just looks like a fucking beast. He looks like a badass. Heyman said a couple words in French. Basically, he said that's all he knows. He says, with a few French-Canadian athlete names that he mentioned, he ended up calling the language a guttural language. Fans chanted something in French. I thought they were chanting, "Fuck you, Heyman." I don't know. Heyman said he'd need subtitles to understand what they were chanting at him. He told Knight not to get in the favor business with CM Punk. He says it will cost him everything in life, including your self-respect, years off your life, your career, your tribal chief. Punk then stopped Paul Heyman and said, "Stop, you crybaby. It sounds like you're going to piss your pants." He then invited Breaker and Reed to come on down to the ring. Heyman smiled and said it seemed he taught him well after all those years. That is one hell of an idea. He suggested they have a tag team match tonight. Knight says they don't want Breaker and Reed, as he was about to say he wanted Seth instead, and Punk interrupted LA Knight and said, "You know what? I accept. We accept." LA Knight then looked at Punk and said, "You don't talk for me. Yes, we accept." Heyman says, "Great. We'd see you both tonight." Breaker then started to make his way to the ring when Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman were going to the back. Bronson Reed had to come back down the aisleway and grab Bronson Reed, or grab Braun Breaker rather, did Reed, before he did anything to LA Knight and CM Punk. As Bronson Reed held Braun Breaker back, Braun Breaker yelled to CM Punk, "You're 47. What are you going to do?" And then he looked at LA Knight and said, "And you're 40. Collectively, you're near 100 years old. I'll kick both of your asses." Braun Breaker is a legit fucking savage. That's all that needs to be stated there. I laughed my ass off when he yelled at CM Punk, "You're 47. What are you going to do about it?" I said this at SummerSlam. He was talking trash in that tag team match with Jay and Bronson Reed. Just let him be. You let him be a Steiner, and you let him cut everybody down the way a Steiner does, man, I swear to God, gold. Legitimate gold. Just let him be. Let him do what he needs to do. That's the best Braun Breaker. I thought this was a good follow-up to last week. They addressed the issues. They talked about CM Punk interfering in the match, why he interfered in the match, and when he interfered in the match. Now, a lot of people are looking at it from just a very linear, heads-on point of view. Oh, Punk, he interfered and caused the DQ on LA Knight and cost LA Knight the championship. Punk comes out here tonight and says, Well, before you start blaming me for costing you the championship, this guy was about to curb stomp your ass on the fucking concrete. You might not be standing here right now this week. So I like the fact that they addressed what he did last week, but also gave you a reason why he did what he did last week. Because you don't want to turn one of these guys into a bad guy while both of them are two of the biggest baby faces in the company. So they had to give Punk a reason to be out here with LA Knight to basically say, yeah, I did it, but I also didn't mean it because I was looking out for you while I did it. So I thought that was a very good move, and it really accomplished a lot here. We got the tag team match in the main event. Rollins was not present for this. I didn't really think we'd see him on tonight's show, but he did show face later in the night. I thought this was a solid way to open the show. The only negative takeaway from this opening segment was the chemistry between LA Knight and CM Punk is certainly there. But I just felt like they tried too hard to not go too hard on each other. And I felt like it caused Punk to trip up a little bit. And it sounded like, it looked like, it felt like he forgot some of his lines. And I thought LA Knight did the same thing, because I know that if you give these guys no restraints and they go at each other, I think that would be a promo segment for WWE that could go down as one of the best of the entire year. Both great promos. I thought this did a lot to set up the main event quite nicely, and I also thought, coming out of last week's show, they gave a very, very good explanation as to why Punk did what he did while also maintaining, hey, I want Rollins, you want Rollins, I didn't do it on purpose, I did it and I saved you. So, I like that. Good stuff. Backstage, we got the Judgment Day. Balor was chatting with Roxanne Perez. Raquel Rodriguez is there. JD McDonough is there. Dominik walks in with El Grande Americano, or who I call Venti Americano. Balor pulled Dom aside and said, can we talk in private, please? We don't want El Grande Americano here. Dominik said, don't worry. I'm using him to our advantage for Triple Mania because I want to win the AAA Mega Championship. Balor said he trusted him. Do what you got to do. Balor suggested Rodriguez and Perez go sort things out with Adam Pearce about possibly the tag team title situation or what's going on with Naomi. Maybe one of you guys can go get the championship if there is something wrong with Naomi. So, Dominik and El Grande Americano team up against AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. Now, Triple Mania is happening on Saturday, 9 p.m. Eastern, with an English and Spanish feed on YouTube. WWE is allowing this on their YouTube channel, and it will be streamed on YouTube for everybody. Triple Mania. The main event will see Vikingo defend the AAA Mega Championship against El Grande Americano, Dominik Mysterio, and Dragon Lee. I will be watching. I can't wait. I think that's going to be a great Saturday night. So we'll see what happens there. We got this tag team match that opened the in-ring action on Monday Night Raw. I thought this was fun. Dominik wrestled for a little bit in a black lucha mask. And we go right into a commercial break. And we'll pick it up after the commercial break. Americano ripped at Dragon Lee's mask during the break. And it looked like they exposed a little bit of Dragon Lee's face there. Might have ripped it a little bit too much. Match slowed down. Lee hit Americano with a double foot stomp off the top rope. Dominik yanked Styles off the apron to prevent the tag from Dragon Lee to Styles. So no hot tag. Styles chased him around ringside and tackled him over the barricade. Styles eventually makes the hot tag, hits Americano with a fireman's carry neck breaker, but Dominik broke up the cover. Lee is in there, monkey flipped Dominik into a Styles clash, which looked very cool. Americano shoved Lee off the top rope when he went up top for a big move. Styles gave him a reverse DDT. Americano's now sitting on the outside in his corner. He looks to place that little steel plate under the eye of his mask. And he's looking for the headbutt with the steel plate in the mask. Styles hits an enziguri. plate falls down to the outside where he was sitting, only to be picked up by Dominik Mysterio. He had his mask off at this point. He put the mask back on. He picks up the steel plate. He puts the steel plate in his mask, and he headbutts AJ Styles as AJ came off the rope. Americano caught Styles with a schoolboy, and Grande Americano pins AJ Styles. 1, 2, 3. I thought this was fun. Crowd loved it. It played into Dominik doing the sleazy tactics once again to AJ. Is he going to take those sleazy tactics into Triple Mania and win the Mega Championship? Could be a realistic possibility. We don't know. If WWE really wants to set the world on fire with this fucking partnership, Dominik Mysterio winning the AAA Mega Championship, I could see it happening. As far as the Intercontinental Championship, I don't know. I pitched maybe we do Dominik versus AJ Styles for the Intercontinental title in Paris, which is still a likelihood. We could still very well see that. Last time AJ wrestled in Paris, it was for the WWE Championship against Cody Rhodes, and that was not only a great match, but a great environment. That was awesome. Could AJ Styles and Dominik be added to the Clash in Paris card for the Intercontinental Championship? If Dominik wins the Mega Championship, there's no reason for him to be holding the Intercontinental Championship. He's not doing anything with it. He's not. Does it enhance Judgment Day by him holding 2 championships? No, it don't. Does it do anything for Dominik Mysterio? No, it doesn't. Take the belt off Dominik, put it on AJ, and have AJ become the new workhorse champion. We need the Intercontinental Championship to thrive on Monday night. I feel like it's such a huge non-factor right now. If he is going to be the world champion of AAA, why does he need the WWE Intercontinental Championship at the same time? I don't get it. It's great for Dominik that they trust him, but he does not need 2 championships. Put the title on AJ, and if it happens in Paris on the PLE night, or they do it on Monday, where they're still in Paris for Monday Night Raw, I don't know. But I think it needs to be done. Earlier in the day, they showed a clip of Sami Zayn asking Adam Pearce if he had decided on a world title match at Clash in Paris. Zayn desperately wanted a World Heavyweight Championship match. Adam Pearce says, listen, I can't make any promises. Focus on Rusev, get through tonight, and we can talk about it when you get on the other side. Sheamus came in, and Sami Zayn was still there. And he walks on in, and Adam Pearce said, listen, I'm glad both of you are here. I don't know what was going on last week with Rusev, because Sami got clipped, and Sheamus and Rusev were brawling all over the venue last week. Pearce didn't want him going after Rusev again. Sheamus said, what are you going to do about it, fella? Zayn then looked over at Sheamus and said, listen, you and I have known each other for a long time. This is important to me. I'm looking to get back where I need to be. I can take care of Rusev myself. I need you to make me a promise and tell me you're not going to show up in this match. I can do this by myself. And Sheamus says, you have my word. But as soon as that bell rings and that match is over, I'm coming for Rusev. Which he did, and he did keep his word. Sami Zayn going after the World Championship now is going to be teased. It's not going to happen imminently. I would not give him a World Championship match right now. I do think that he will be involved with Seth Rollins to a point, but it's not going to be for the World Championship. We got a lot of names going after the World Championship. Jey Uso, LA Knight, CM Punk. I'm sure Roman Reigns wants a shot at Seth Rollins as well. Sami Zayn is going to definitely be involved in that world title picture, but it's not going to be closer. It's not going to be till closer to the end of the year. So that's what is going on there. But they're going to tease you. They're going to give you little Easter eggs and little hints about where his direction's going to be. I know some people don't want to see it, but it's going to happen. They've played it out on TV way too much for them not to deliver Sami Zayn going after the World Championship and eventually winning the World Heavyweight Championship. Io Sky She's with Adam Pearce and is aggravated at Adam Pearce about not getting a title match now that Naomi is medically disqualified. Rodriguez and Roxanne showed up to mock Io not getting a championship match. Io said she came to Quebec to fight. So if Naomi's not able to do it, she challenged Roxanne to a match tonight, and Adam Pearce made it official. You know, I'm genuinely curious, chat. What's the problem with Sami Zayn becoming a world champion? What's the problem with Sami Zayn becoming a world champion? Do we not care about Sami Zayn? Where did all this Sami Zayn hate and disgust come from? The guy hasn't really done much of anything. I don't really get it. Sami Zayn versus Rusev. I thought this was entertaining. Rusev thrives when he's in the ring with guys who are as over as Sami Zayn, especially in Quebec City. So we'll get into this here as soon as the bell rings. And Zayn hits, obviously, his signature Arabian press to the outside. Crowd pop big for it. Rusev cut him off with a Uranage. And we go into a commercial break. Rusev is posing for the crowd. He got a lot of heat here, being that Sami's the hometown guy. Zayn makes a comeback after the commercial break. Hits a tornado DDT as the fans are very much into Sami Zayn. Zayn went for a haluva kick. Rusev cut him off with the big machka kick. He goes for recovery, gets a 2 count. Zayn avoided an accolade and applied a schoolboy for a 2 on Rusev. Rusev then avoided an exploder suplex and hit Sami Zayn with his own version of the 10 beats of the Bodhrán to piss off Sheamus. So clearly he's mocking Sheamus here on Sami Zayn. Rusev took too long. Sami Zayn eventually pops out an exploder suplex, drops Rusev in the corner. Zayn is setting up for the haluva kick. Zayn was pulled out of the ring all of a sudden by Solo Sikoa and the MFTs. And we get yet another disqualification. Tala Tonga boots Sami Zayn in the face. Officials come to run down and separate these guys, chase them away and break it up. Crowd booed. And the MFTs are on Monday night. And they are Friday Night SmackDown superstars. Obviously, Sheamus promised Sami Zayn he would not interfere in the match. He kept his word. As soon as the bell rang and the match was over, he was out there immediately to get his hands on Rusev. He came through the crowd, hit Rusev with a knee strike. Sheamus tossed the security guard over the announce desk, and he and Rusev brawled through the crowd until you could not see them anymore. And that was the way this segment and this match came to an end. You know, I don't really know what's going on with the lackadaisical way WWE is treating their brand split. Now, they don't have to give us an explanation. They don't. They can do whatever the fuck they want. I'm going to call that out every time I see it. We had Sami Zayn on Friday show up on SmackDown because Solo issued an open challenge. And predictably, Sami Zayn walked out in Montreal to wrestle Solo Sikoa on Friday Night SmackDown in a non-title match, one-on-one. Sami Zayn beat Solo Sikoa. He beat Solo Sikoa in a non-title match for the United States Championship after you just had this guy walk out of SummerSlam and beat Jacob Fatu to retain the United States Championship. Now, granted, it was a 4-on-2 situation at SummerSlam, but he got the victory over Jacob Fatu. Where is Jacob Fatu? Now, I did say, so I guess I'm getting what I wanted. I don't want to see them in the ring together at all. In fact, I would break them up and move one of them on to another show and keep the MFTs on the other show. Get Fatu away from this albatross known as the MFTs. I would be happy if I never see another MFT segment again. They are nearing Death Riders cringe. But that doesn't mean you get to use them on one show and then again on the other. Sami Zayn beat him on Friday. Why is Sami Zayn involved with Solo Sikoa? Why is Solo Sikoa involved with Sami Zayn now? Sami Zayn has made a mention that he wants to be the world champion, not the United States champion. I have no interest in seeing a fucking retread of Solo Sikoa versus Sami Zayn, something that we've seen for the last 3 fucking years. I'm done. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody. Where are your rules? Why aren't rules in place? Why are there talents that are allowed to show up with zero explanation? Are you telling us something that you aren't actually telling us? Is the brand split coming to an end? Are we on the horizon of a draft, a trade, a transfer window? What is it? Why are there so many defections from Raw to SmackDown, from SmackDown to Raw, from Raw and SmackDown to NXT? What is the reason? Why is there nobody that can remain on their show, and specifically to their show? Or are we so lost creatively that we now have to start using people from the other show on Raw and people from Raw on SmackDown? It just insults your intelligence. It's lazy. Now, Michael Cole did mention that they're from Friday Night SmackDown, and he has no reason why they're here. That doesn't really give us an explanation as to why they're there. It just really asks the question that we're all asking. Why the fuck are they there? Why? How'd they get in the building? Who allowed them in? What do they want with Sami Zayn? Where's Jacob Fatu? Why doesn't he want his title back? He was in a 4-on-2 situation. He got fucked at SummerSlam. Where is he? There's nobody else on Friday Night SmackDown that wants the United States title. It's got to be a guy from Raw. Stop insulting my intelligence. Nobody wants to see this again. Nobody. Solo Sikoa, after the break, was kicked out of the arena along with the MFTs. Pierce was pissed as he spoke with Nick Aldis on the phone. A referee interrupted to tell Pierce that they separated Sheamus and Rusev. Are you sure? I got other shit to deal with. Go make sure that they're separated, please, because I don't trust you guys after last week. All of a sudden, the New Day and Grayson Waller approached. Adam Pearce is in no mood to talk to the New Day. They wanted to complain about Penta. Pearce was so angry about what was going on here. He got MFTs out there, Rusev and Sheamus. He put Xavier and Penta in a match together next week, one-on-one. Again, I don't know where it's leading. I don't know where it's going. But we got Penta and Woods in a match next week. There was a video package for Bronson Reed, which was a nice little deviation. I like when they do a random video package. He says he's become a big star because he attacked Seth, and I earned Seth Rollins' respect. He says he invited him into the vision as a result. He says he doesn't want Roman Reigns' respect, though. He said he punked him out like a 5th grader in front of schoolyard friends. He says he's going to keep adding to his collection of sneakers until he acknowledges the tribal thief. Well, there you go. There you go. That's the match for Roman Reigns at Clash in Paris. It'll be the tribal thief, Bronson Reed, versus the tribal chief, the OTC, one, Roman Reigns at Clash in Paris. Kairi Sane and Asuka. They told Io Sky that she can beat Roxanne Perez. Asuka suggested that they accompany her to ringside to keep things fair with the Judgment Day. Sky said thanks, but no thanks. I can do this on my own. You can see that Asuka and Kairi were visibly disappointed that Io did not want their help. Now, we talked about this last week, that it looked like there might be some tension between Io and the Kabuki Warriors, and that is continuing on into this week, which we saw here and we saw after the match. This was probably the best match of the entire night. Love Roxanne. We know Io's great. We know Io has always been great. But it's nice to see Roxanne get some shine and get some in-ring action, one-on-one. I think Roxanne's fantastic. So we'll pick it up after the commercial break between these two. And I thought, like I said, these two had the best match of the entire night. So Sky was in control, wiped out Perez and Rodriguez with a suicide dive. And we'll go into a commercial break. Sky is making a comeback because during the commercial break, Roxanne Perez got on offense. She started making a babyface comeback. She hit some strikes, a dropkick, an enziguri, a missile dropkick. She then did the Meteora in the corner on Roxanne. She goes for coverage. She gets a near fall off the Meteora. Perez knocked Sky off the top rope and brought her down with a Hurricanrana. Perez then gets a knee drop on Sky, which you could physically hear the impact of this knee drop. It looked great. It sounded even better. So Rodriguez is on the outside. The referee is distracted by Raquel Rodriguez. So Roxanne poked Io in the eyes and delivered a shining wizard to Io to get a 2 count. Perez put Sky in a crossface. Io eventually slipped out and hits a very Stephanie Vicaire-looking backbreaker for a 2 count. Io goes up top, hits the Asai moonsault, takes out Perez and Roxanne, or Rodriguez, rather. Perez and Rodriguez on the outside. Sky went for a moonsault in the ring, but Perez got her knees up. Now, that was what we were looking for. Io, she got a little bit more height on this moonsault, and because Io got more height than distance on the moonsault, the move actually did not look as clean as it should. So when Io got more height than distance, she actually undershot the moonsault, and when Roxanne tried to get her knees up or her feet up, it didn't look like it connected all that much. And on the way down, because Io undershot it, her leg smacked Roxanne in the face on the way down on the moonsault. This was the sloppiest portion of the entire match. So when you go back and watch it, Io got a little bit too much height and not enough distance. If she got the right amount of distance, this would have actually looked very good in execution. So they both stayed down after the mini botch. Rodriguez distracted the referee again, which at this point, Asuka and Kairi ran down to go after Roxanne Perez. They wanted to help Io win the match, even though Io told them, stay in the back, I don't need your help. Perez escaped, and Io almost knocked Asuka off the apron. So she stopped right before she hit Asuka. Perez is behind Io. She shoves Io into Asuka and knocks Asuka off the ring apron and ended up rolling up Io and hooked the tights for the 1, 2, 3. So Roxanne Perez, off of this little mini distraction because the Kabuki Warriors are out there, took advantage of this because Io didn't want to hurt her friends, rolled up Io from behind and hooked the tights and got the win. Io looked very upset that she lost and upset that she feels that her friends didn't respect her enough to leave her alone, because if they weren't out there, she could have realistically won this match against Roxanne, and now she lost. Went 16 minutes. I thought this was a very good match. The botch with the moonsault and then this minor clunky finish. Only negative takeaways from this, but I thought what they did here was the best TV match of the entire night. Jackie Redmond. She interviewed Jey Uso. He says it hurt him to miss Raw last week and hurt him to see what happened to Roman Reigns. He missed an episode of Raw because he had family business to take care of. Jey put Rollins and the Bronze on notice. LA Knight then interrupted. He noted that everybody looked at Jay missing Monday Night Raw last week. Monday Night Raw was missing you last week, Oos. He claimed a lot of people thought he didn't want to be in the shadow of Roman Reigns. That's why he went missing last week. LA Knight told him, you may want the world championship, but the line starts behind me if you are talking about the world championship. Jay offered to put Knight at the back of the line, and Jay welcomed him to Monday Night Raw. Looks like we may be getting another catchphrase on top of Yeet. Monday Night Raw. He had family business to take care of. What does that mean? Does that mean Jimmy Uso is going to come on over to Monday Night Raw? See what happens. Byron Saxton interviewed Penta. He said Wood's hat looked better on him and the New Day sucks. Basically is what Penta said here on Monday Night Raw. Io. She was walking through the back and she was visibly distraught and frustrated over the fact that she lost to Roxanne Perez. Asuka and Kairi are out in the back with Io. And they're talking in Japanese, and Io is explaining, I didn't need you out there. Why did you come out there when I told you to stay back here? Asuka's yelling in Japanese, and she shoved Io Sky away and walked off. Kairi looked at Io in shock, as if she didn't really know that Asuka was going to act that way. And she acted conflicted. She wanted to stay with Io because she's friends with Io, but she also is friends with Asuka, and she wants to go see if Asuka's all right. So she ended up walking off with Asuka and went to go chase after Asuka. I don't know what's going on there, man, but I'm slightly intrigued. And I think this could be a good look for Asuka and Kairi Sane. Becky Lynch. She went one-on-one with not Natalya, but with Maxxine Dupri. Natalya was out there along with Akira Tozawa. This was a women's Intercontinental Championship match. Did Maxxine get better? I mean, they gave her 5 minutes. I guess that speaks a lot to what they think of Maxxine. Did she look out of place in there? Yes, she did. Yes, she did. If you are at Maxine's level, and you are at Maxine's level of green, you are going to look out of place next to Becky Lynch. Maxxine can train. Listen, has she gotten better from what she was? Yes, she has. But I'm going to be honest with you because that's the only way I know how. Does Maxxine look like a professional wrestler to you when she's in the ring? No, she doesn't. I do not take her to be serious. I do not take her to look the part. She doesn't sound the part. She doesn't wrestle the part. Maxxine, you guys might think differently, but I don't really get a sense that this is going anywhere, no matter how much they want to try. She could be a great valet, though. I don't think we need Maxxine Dupri on top of everything else we got in this women's division. It's just a waste of time. This match went 5 minutes. Not much to really write home about here. It was basically Becky Lynch not wanting to wrestle Natalya and basically wanting to treat Natalya's protege and walk all over her first before she even thinks about giving a title match to Natalya. So Lynch mocked Dupri and told her to get out of the ring. Dupri acted like she might, and Becky Lynch received an arm drag. Lynch took this match over anyway. Multiple suplexes. Dupri countered a manhandle slam at one point into a jawbreaker, which looked good. Dupri then applied an ankle lock, but Becky Lynch rolled out of it. That led to Maxxine doing an oddly timed cartwheel out of nowhere. And then that led to Maxxine booting Becky Lynch in the face in the corner. Maxxine then hits a flying crossbody. She then hits a spin kick. Did not look good. The crossbody looked good. The spin kick did not. They trade cradles back and forth, and Becky Lynch tried stealing a win by grabbing the bottom rope, but the referee caught her in time. Becky Lynch then quickly applied a disarm her, and Maxxine quickly tapped out. Becky Lynch booted Natalya in the face as she checked on Maxxine after the match. Becky Lynch wins in 5 minutes, and goodbye, Maxxine Dupri. We already got enough divas on the show with Nikki Bella being back. We don't need Maxxine adding another diva to the Monday Night Raw women's division. It's all right in moderation. Very, 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 very small moderation. But Maxxine Dupri does not belong in the pro wrestling ring. Seth Rollins, he was here tonight. He was on the show. He met with his boys backstage. He was in a good mood because he thought he'd have to deal with CM Punk and LA Knight tonight, but apparently they are dealing with each other. They don't like each other. There's a CM Punk and LA Knight problem. I thought I'd have to deal with both of them. I don't have to deal with any of them. But instead, they now have to deal with the Bronze instead. Rollins figured his job was done here tonight, so you guys are going to take care of these two guys in the main event. I'm going to go to the personal jet. He says he's got the Wi-Fi on the personal jet for the Oracle. And he would see all these guys after winning tonight on the private jet so they could get out of this deplorable town. New Day cut a promo with Grayson Waller on the stage. Kofi Kingston noted Quebec wasn't really Canada. And Woods, he wasn't wearing a big hat this week. He was wearing a very tiny hat. Said that he would beat Penta next week when Raw goes to Philadelphia. Bayley. There was a great vignette with Bayley. Sit down interview, kind of just one-on-one. Bayley speaking in front of the camera with nobody else. She says she's been doing this for almost 13 years, and I've never felt the way that I feel right now. She said she wants more, but feels nothing. And I think it's all my fault. She actually sounded like she was going to cry. Bayley talked about calling herself a role model, and we saw clips from her NXT days, and we saw clips of her early main roster days. She talked about calling herself the role model, but being called that by others first, because she acted that way and she saw her as someone everyone could look up to. She said she feels everything she has done hasn't gotten her anything. She said she can't remember the last time she was ever proud of herself. And it's all my fault. The screen then did this weird special effects thing, and they blurred the background, and we got this buzzing in the background, and we saw and heard clips of Bayley. And I believe the clip was from her Ding Dong Hello heel days. And it's almost as if a bell is going off in Bayley's mind, knowing exactly what she needs to do. She needs to take the world by the balls and do what Bayley needs to do for Bayley and nobody else. She started rubbing her jaw, and the screen went blank after we heard the Ding Dong Hello soundbite. I thought Bayley was great here. I thought putting her in a position where she has realized that she's a loser and nobody has helped her. She's all by herself. She's got no friends. Everybody's left her, gone on to do whatever they are doing. She needs to sit down and really think about what she needs to do. Do some soul searching. I thought she came off very well here. I thought it was, I don't want to say compelling, but I'm interested because I think out of all the women on that roster, Bayley needs something different. Bayley needs change. And I honestly feel like if someone's going to go heel, Bayley should be a candidate at the top of that list. I think the two people here outside, Naomi's a great heel and Becky's a great heel. You are fine with those two leading the charge on Monday night. I'm moving Bayley over to SmackDown. I'm moving Bayley as a heel over to SmackDown. I think Bayley is definitely a front runner to turn heel. I think the other one, honestly, is Jade Cargill. I think Jade Cargill is horribly miscast. Nobody wants to cheer Jade. There's no reason to cheer Jade. There's nothing to like about Jade. She's just an unlikable person. She is absolutely miscast. So I think Jade and Bayley are at the top two priority in the women's division to turn heel. I was going to say Bianca, but I just can't see them doing that right now. Can't turn everybody heel. I would actually turn Jade over Bianca right now because I think Jade needs it more. And I think Bayley is in line for a heel turn as well. Don't know what that means for Lyra. Does she stay on Raw? Does she move to SmackDown? Does Bayley stay on Raw as a heel? Does Lyra move over to SmackDown? Do they move Becky over to SmackDown? I don't know. But I enjoyed this, and I'm interested in what's going on with Bayley. Speaking of Lyra. Lyra was interviewed by Kathy Kelly. And she said that she felt bad for Bayley. She didn't mean what she said to Bayley, but they had to go their separate ways. She doesn't know what's going on with Bayley. She didn't really express that to her. But it's not her fault, and Bayley is on her own. So she felt bad, but she didn't really feel bad because she said it's all Bayley's fault anyway. They had to go on their own. So I don't know where this is going. I don't know if Bayley's going to come back and target Lyra. Is that going to be Bayley's first target after turning heel? I don't know. Again, I'm intrigued. Stephanie Vicaire, she walked up to EO in the back, and she told EO that she wasn't the only one who was promised a title match. And she walked away. Hopefully that match with Naomi is still on the card for Clash in Paris. Rhea Ripley showed up. Fans legitimately melted. This was a backstage segment, and the fans fucking melted when Rhea was on screen. Rhea Ripley told EO she is sorry she didn't get the match against Naomi tonight. She told Sky that if Asuka and Kairi had just listened to her, she wouldn't have beaten, or Perez rather, wouldn't have beaten her earlier in the night. Ripley asked EO, can you trust them? Can you trust Asuka and Kairi? EO then told Rhea something in Japanese and then told Rhea, stay out of my business. EO didn't want to say it, but she said it anyway. And she walked off very frustrated, and Rhea looked sad that she upset EO to a point where EO yelled at Rhea Ripley. So there's a lot going on here. Asuka and Kairi tried to help EO. EO told them no, they're out there anyway. They fucked the match up for EO against Roxanne. EO loses. Asuka's mad. EO blames Asuka. Asuka didn't mean it. They're all mad now. And now Rhea is involved saying, you told them to stay out of your business. Are they really your friends? Because they cost you a match tonight when you should have had a championship match. Can you trust them as your friends now, being that they didn't listen to you and respect you? EO's now mad at Rhea. So who's going to break here? The Raw Women's Division needed something else as far as interest. This is doing the job. I actually quite like this. It gives meaning to a bunch of different women. Asuka, Kairi, they need it. Then you got Rhea and EO. Are they going to come together after some tension here? Because they're really friends. They are great friends, but also very good enemies as well. What's going to happen there? Naomi's out. We don't know what's happening with that. Stephanie wants her title match. EO needs her title match. Stephanie went to EO saying, you're not the only one who's owed a title match. Just keeping her in the rearview mirror. A lot going on here, man. I like what's going on here. A lot of combustible elements in the women's division. Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. CM Punk LA Knight, main event. Can they coexist? Can they coexist tonight? LA Knight and CM Punk. I thought this was a very good main event. did what it needed to do. Very good tag team match. Punk and LA Knight were in control until the Bronze used a distraction. And we go into a commercial break with them in control. LA Knight, after the commercial break, Braun Breaker knocked him over the announce desk with a leaping clothesline off the apron. And we go into another commercial break. So LA Knight, he began crawling over to make a hot tag to CM Punk as Braun Breaker went around the ring to go after Punk. Punk, though, saw it coming, so Breaker backed off. But that meant LA Knight could not make the tag because at least Braun Breaker distracted CM Punk. And he took his eye off the hot tag. The Bronze gave LA Knight a Steiner Bulldog off the top rope. Love that they're bringing this move back, bro. Love it. Punk broke up the cover off the Steiner Bulldog. Punk eventually makes the hot tag. Hit Breaker with a big boot, a clothesline, a leg lariat, vertical suplex, lifting knee strike. All typical CM Punk offense. Reed was about to go after CM Punk, but LA Knight intercepted him with a baseball slide through the ropes, knocked him down. Punk hit Breaker with a flying elbow drop. He called for the GTS. And Rollins, of course, attacked, causing a disqualification, giving LA Knight and CM Punk the victory via disqualification. So the heels attacked until Jey Uso made his way out to the ring. They cued his theme music. It was a 3-on-2 beatdown. Jey makes it 3-on-3. He comes out with a steel chair. He attacked Braun Breaker in the aisle with a steel chair. Rollins bailed before Reed swatted the chair away from Jey Uso. Jey fought him off anyway and knocked him out of the ring with the steel chair with a shot to the back. Jey stood tall with Punk and LA Knight in the ring as the babyfaces got one over on the Vision. Adam Pearce comes out through the curtain with a microphone. He eventually told Rollins that he's caused a lot of chaos here, and now he's got to pay the price. At Clash in Paris, so he will defend the World Heavyweight Championship in a fatal four-way. It will be Seth Rollins versus Jey Uso, LA Knight, and CM Punk in a fatal four-way match. Rollins clearly was not happy with this decision. Punk happy, LA Knight happy. Punk was so happy he shook the top rope like the Ultimate Warrior. LA Knight, he did not find himself to be too happy with this because he feels like he's owed a one-on-one match, and him and Punk started arguing. So Knight shoved Punk. Punk eventually tackled LA Knight down to the ground. They brawled. Jey pulled Knight off of Punk because they all got their championship match. What the fuck are you fighting for? And this gave Seth Rollins the opportunity to intervene here. As soon as CM Punk and LA Knight started brawling, Punk got the one-up and set up LA Knight for a GTS. In comes Braun Breaker. He spears CM Punk. Rollins and his crew beat up all these baby faces here who are arguing amongst each other. Braun Breaker ran around the ring and speared LA Knight on the outside. Reed gave Jey a Death Valley driver and a tsunami, and Rollins stomped Knight as he re-entered the ring. He stomped Jey, and then he eventually stomps Punk and holds the title high up in the air, and that's the way Monday Night Raw goes off the air. We got 2 DQs here, folks. We got Sami Zayn and Rusev ending in a DQ. We got Io and Roxanne ending in interference. We got even the tag team match with fucking Dominik, Mysterio, and Grande Americano. That ended nefariously. And then here in the main event, we got another disqualification. If you go back to 4 weeks, every Monday Night Raw since July 14th, that was the night that Punk got a decisive victory on Monday Night Raw, where he won the gauntlet match for the right to wrestle Gunther at SummerSlam for the World Heavyweight Championship on night 1. We haven't had a clear, decisive winner on Monday Night Raw since July 14th. That was the last time we got a decisive winner. Every single week, there's been a main event that ended in a DQ or some bullshit finish. What are we doing with the creativity on this show, bro? What are we doing? I don't get it. The Vision took advantage of Punk, LA Knight, and Jey Uso. Punk and LA Knight, love them. They looked like fucking geeks arguing amongst each other. They got their title match. They're brawling with each other. Jey Uso's there trying to pull them off each other. In comes the Vision, and they all get treated like the geeks that they are. But at some point, we're going to have to book a main event that is not a DQ or no contest or a fuck finish. That is what's making these shows feel dull, lifeless, boring, predictable. There's no, it's funny that they call Rollins' group the Vision. There is no vision. There is no vision. It's so fucking, it's so lame. It's lacking creativity. What are we doing? I don't get it. I enjoyed this week more than I did last week. That doesn't mean it was better. It doesn't mean it's a great show. I thought last week in the follow-up to SummerSlam was fucking boring. They didn't do anything. They at least tried a little more than they did last week this week. I like the Sami Rusev stuff. I like the Sheamus Rusev stuff. I like the Roxanne Io match. I like the fact that LA Knight and CM Punk in an in-ring segment coming out of last week. They gave you a plausible reason why Punk did what he did while also maintaining, hey, I didn't mean it. But I want Rollins, you want Rollins, but I also saved you at the same fucking time. So don't be mad at me. You won't even be getting a championship match if it wasn't for me. But man, the fucking lack of creativity for the finishes on this show, I don't know, man. Something's got to be done. Something's got to change. Thank you guys for a great stream tonight. We had upwards towards 2,300 people in here on a Monday night. Thank you guys very much for all your support. We're going to get into your super chats in just a second. Follow me on social media at JDfromNY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Make sure you guys go check out all the content, including today's video. We did 45 minutes plus, detailing every little aspect of the Karrion Kross Scarlett WWE situation. Go and check that out. It's on the homepage. It really mean a lot to me if you go thumbs up that video. My fans, my folks, my VIPs on the audio side of things, man. iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, you name it. You guys are listening on the audio side of things, or if you're not and you want to help me out, go over there and leave me a rating. Leave me a comment, leave me a rating. Let me know how you're enjoying the show. Helps me out tremendously. In the standings, in the rankings on iTunes, man, we're always a top 30 podcast. We really appreciate you guys going support on there as well. Hit that thumbs up. We are looking at 750 likes. Can we get to at least 850 tonight? That's the goal. 850 likes tonight. Right here on the Monday Night Raw post show. Tonight's show is sponsored by Blue Chew. BlueChew.com, code JD at checkout. You know, I had a run-in with Dax Softwood this week. It was over a non-wrestling tweet. I am on his mind 24/7, man. He's making t-shirts about me with my likeness on it. He's in my non-wrestling posts about my appreciation for one of my favorite bands out there today. I can't win, bro. I can't win. You do not want to be a Dax Softwood in the bedroom. You don't. You want to be at the top of your game. Whatever the opposite of Dax Softwood is what you'll be with Blue Chew. BlueChew.com, code JD at checkout. Make sure you guys go and sign up and use our promo code JD for your free sample. All you need to do is pay the $5 shipping and handling. Blue Chew is a unique online service that provides the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, and it comes in a chewable tablet and at a fraction of the cost. You guys can take them anytime, day or night. Plan ahead. Be ready whenever that opportunity arises. So make sure you guys sign up You're going to consult with one of their online medical providers, and once you are approved, you're going to receive your prescription within days. No questions asked. That's all done online. No waiting in line at the pharmacy. No waiting in line at the doctor's office. No awkward conversations with some person you don't know. It's all done online. They are prepared and shipped to you right here in the USA, discreetly, right to your front door. If you guys can benefit from some extra confidence when it counts, why not give Blue Chew a try? BlueChew.com, code JD at checkout. All you guys need to do is pay the $5 shipping and handling. Yes, you don't want to be a Dak Softwood. You want to be a Juice Robinson. Rock hard. Yeah. Yeah. Super chats are open, man. Get them on in. We're going to read through these. If you guys want to support the show, it's the best way to do so. Michael Krause with the $2 super chat. JD, OTS, hope everyone had a great weekend. Yeah. I did not. Felt like the weekend was very excruciatingly long, and I did not get proper rest. Thank you, Michael. JM Beer with the 3 months. Thank you, brother. Something's clearly wrong in creative somewhere. Raw, SmackDown, and Dynamite are horrendous to watch. I enjoy NXT and TNA more right now. Not even joking. The weekly television shows are very severely lacking in the creativity department. They are. Cornell Bryant, $4.99. Travis Scott eats corn the long way. Sign in the crowd. Yeah, I saw that. Somebody needs to clip that. Somebody should absolutely clip that for me and just put Sean Ross Sapp eats corn the long way, and then we'll put it on the podcast somehow. Cornell Bryant with the $4.99. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but with the WWE, they need to get this shit together before the NFL starts in a month, because what the fuck is this trash? I don't know. The shows are lacking. I will admit, the shows are lacking. WrestleMess with the $1.99. What do you think is this year's Hell in a Cell feud? Could be Punk and Rollins. Could be Punk and Rollins. William Bellin with a $5 super chat. Hey, JD, hope you're doing well tonight. Keep doing what you do best. Hashtag OTS for life. Hashtag we want cross. Yes, no cross chance tonight, man. I guess it's just the vocal minority on social media. AJT with 29 months. At this rate, Triple H is just Vince minus the sex trafficking. No, that's Tony Khan. That's Tony Khan. At the end of the day, no matter how bad Triple H is right now creatively with him and his team, he is still leagues beyond Tony Khan. Tony Khan is a clueless fucking individual. He doesn't know what the fuck he's... Forbidden Door looks awful. We've seen, but Forbidden Door is a soulless effort that sold 16,000 tickets because London is so thirsty for professional wrestling. Michelle Moran with a $5 super chat. Can we just call them the Seth Riders now? My God, what is Triple H thinking? These endings are making the faces look really bad. Seth's chant feels like Mox. I guess that's how they look at a heel champion. It's boring. Sidro with a $5 super chat. What kind of luggage does a psycho carry? A nutcase. And what do you call several strawberries sitting around playing the guitar? A jam session. Interesting. You know, that jam session might be better than Def Rebel, bro. No, they did not chant, we want Brock, we want Brock. They were chanting, we want Cross. Cross even put it in his documentary, bro. Give me a fucking break. Glow J with 6 months. I don't know what to say about tonight's Raw. Is it me? But Seth and his crew are starting to resemble the Death Riders. A brawl at the end of every show. I know. That's why I said there's no fucking consequences to these shows. Baby faces look like geeks. DQ and no contests 4 straight weeks. It's like, what the fuck, man? It's boring. Devil Jinx with 4 months. None of the promos feel authentic anymore. It feels like it's all going through the motions. Much love to you, JD and the OTS family. Andale arriba. El Ononico might show up at AAA, bro. We don't know. Sidro with a $5 super chat. What do you get when you pick a pig's nose? Ham boogers. I know. It's not funny. How do you make a waterbed bouncier? Use spring water. That's a good one. Clever. Sidro re-ups his commitment to the VIP club. Thank you, brother. Glad to see you're safe. Coming back from Las Vegas. Richard Cohn with a 5 months. I don't know. Tonight's show wasn't exciting. Been a very bad year for wrestling. Some of it has been good, but why can't we have good every week? It sucks. Well, I don't expect a fucking Academy Award winning show every week, bro. I just want something exciting and giving me that feeling of I can't wait till next week. It feels more like a chore to watch than it does excitement. Yet they're going to do another PLE on September 20th, supposedly. Why? Man, put the greediness away for one fucking month, bro. We don't need pay-per-views, PLEs every 3 fucking weeks. We don't. Survivor with 4 months. Thank you, brother. Triple M with a $5 super chat. I can't solo ops farm anymore. I'm burnt out. Just going to do my raids this week. I need Battlefield 6 back now. Anyways, have a good week, JD and OTS. Bro, I just reached 350, man. I'll be at 350 by the end of the night. I'm dying on the inside, bro. I got myself a fucking, forced a tier 4 god roll of the Solstice SMG, though. Man, I got everything on this fucking thing. All right, heel clip, incandescent, attrition orbs. It's either target lock or burning ambition, I think, on just one roll. It's fucking great. Daniel to Miami with a $9.99. What's up, JD? Just wanted to say you're the GOAT of the IWC. You're the realest person out there, and everything that you do, all your hard work pays off, brother. You deserve it, and all the success in the world. You know what, man? I'm going to give you a round of applause, bro. Absolutely, man. Thank you guys for that, man. Appreciate that. Thank you, brother. Furious Nation with a $50 super chat. What's up, JD? Hope all is well, bro. After hearing the commentary on Raw tonight, I agree with your opinion earlier. I honestly believe this carrying cross thing is a work. Raw was much better than SmackDown last week and also turning 29 this Saturday. Thank you, brother. How are we celebrating, nation? How are we celebrating? Captain Solo with a 2. DQ finishes. Triple H learned well from Vince. He did. Brian with a $1.99. Mario Kart? No. I just don't have any interest. I have no interest in anything, bro. I'm fucking shot. It's one of those periods for me, man. I'm just shot. Man, I Everybody's like, man, you gotta have 3 characters. I ain't working on another fucking thing, bro. Fuck out of here. They have turned Destiny into a no-life fucking virgin zone, bro. Best in the world, Matt with a $2 super chat. JD lives in Dax's head rent-free. Get a life, Dax. UTH with a $9.99. JD, love your channel, brother. You are the best. How did you feel about Undertaker vs. Batista 07 Hell in a Cell and their whole story build? Love from VA. Brother, their WrestleMania match was one of the best Taker Mania matches in his entire run. I thought they worked incredibly well together, given the fact that I always thought Batista was very mid. I thought they worked very well together. Corey Williams with 36 months. I don't understand why WWE's wasting storylines so safe for simplified. They don't know any better, bro. Their weekly TV doesn't mean much of anything anymore. It's all about the moment. It's all about the moment. How can we do as little to get to the moment? And in between, maybe they'll put on a great pro wrestling match. Maybe. Sidro with a $5 super chat. What do you call a ceramist that has a lot of hair? A Harry Potter. And when a paraplegic person's factually wrong about something, do they stand corrected? Bro, you are going to get me canceled, bro. People are going to think I wished ill will on a special Olympian. Which I did not, by the way. Richard Cohn with a $5 super chat. Hey, JD, you're right. Raw is getting boring. Same old shit, but it's better than AEW. You're the best, brother. Yeah. I may get that new Metal Gear Solid remake, bro. I love Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear 4 is my favorite. Hunter's Hybrid Media with a $5 super chat. Dax and SRS start on opposite ends of the ear corn and meet in the middle. Yeah. Yeah, I think that is factually correct, Hunters. Sidro with a $5 super chat. What's the most popular name for a female AI companion that can have intimate relationships? Pamela Henderson. Bro, have you seen Pam Anderson now in her 60s, man, with no makeup? She still looks good. She still looks good. What was the outrage a couple of weeks ago, man? Jennifer Love Hewitt gaining too much weight, man? She still looks great. She still looks fucking fantastic. Edward with the $1.99. As soon as the MFT showed, I could hear your rage. Bro, I can't stand them. As irrelevant television to me as anything else on television right now. Captain Solo with a $10 super chat. The Sami Zayn hate started when he beat dominant champions like Braun Breaker and Gunther. Sorry, he had no business beating either one of them. El Generico doesn't need to be a world champion in WWE. Yes, he does. He absolutely does. No, Sidro. Nobody is Stephanie Vicaire level, man. Nobody. Riley Akri with a $9.99. Apparently, the IWC thinks Sammy plays the underdog too much. Now they feel he plays the underdog story for every story, even though at this point his underdog story is solely for the world title. Bro, the IWC are mentally retarded, bro. Don't believe anything or listen to anything the IWC says. Today they complained about the background graphic for the Clash in Paris pay-per-view being Starry Night. I saw one poster today. Isn't Starry Night Van Gogh Dutch? Isn't Van Gogh Dutch? Isn't Starry Night being held in a museum in New York City? Starry Night was painted in the south of France, but Paris is in the north part of France. So what does Starry Night have to do with WWE Clash in Paris? This is what people were arguing about today. Out of all the things that are bad with your pro wrestling, that is what you're arguing about. Something that was clearly AI generated. Anakin women and the children too, Skywalker, with a new membership. Well, thank you, Anakin women. What the fuck are you and the children drinking? Hunter's Hybrid with a 2. I'll roll up EO from behind. I think anybody would, bro. I think anybody would. Huffman Elite Training with a $2 super chat. Jade Cargill should be renamed Miscast when they turn. Yeah, Miscast, yes. It's a new member. It's a new member. Anakin women and the children too. Skywalker. Yeah. Cornell Bryant with a $4.99. Forget Rhea versus Stephanie at WrestleMania 42. I want to see Rhea versus Tiffany. Over Rhea Stephanie? No. So move over Rhea to SmackDown. I know JD go say, who the fuck cares what I think? No, bro. We're not doing Rhea versus Tiffany over Rhea versus Stephanie. No. Yes, I'll roll up Roxanne before I roll up EO. Yes. Lenin Jimenez with a 50 in Mexican pesos. SRS versus Scott Dawson corn ladder match with a corn hanging over the top of the ladder. Yeah, Dax runs in and steals it, and then they all have a three-way eating it the long way. Justin with 36 months and going strong. JD, keep up the great work, bro. You're doing a fantastic job. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate you, bro. I try, man. Not every night's great. I don't feel great every night. Some nights I feel like I don't want to be here, man. But you guys give me the strength and the power to be here and to put on a great show. So thank you. Phil Illuminati with a $2 super chat. JD, I'm at 4:15 and I'm running out of steam. LOL. Bro, I don't know. Listen. I just want to get to a point where I can do the fucking 410 Grandmaster, bro. That's all I want to do. I don't know why they put the fucking locks behind the Grandmaster. I just want the Grandmasters to go back to what they used to be. I got to wear seasonal sets of armor. I got to use seasonal weapons to play those activities. I hate it. I hate it. I'm at 350 and my mind is fucking going into Jello, bro. Jeff with 6 months. Hey, JD, your weekly coverage of WWE makes such a difference for me every week. Keep up the great work. You're the man. Have you played Battlefield 6 yet? Yeah, I haven't. Listen, I wanted to play it. I'm going to buy it. I didn't play it this week. I just had no time. It was a bad weekend. Sidro with a 5. Remember this joke, JD? My mom was surprised when I told her I'm Christian and I was born again. She told me, or she said, that's funny. I didn't feel a thing. No, I don't remember that joke, Sidro. Michael Reed with a $5 super chat. What's up, Jay? They've been supporting you for many years. What do you think? Who do you think should win the Women's Royal Rumble next year? Who should be the next World Tag Team Champion? Michael Reed. I'm going to go early favorite to win the Royal Rumble. Io, Rhea, Stephanie. And the women's tag team titles or the men's tag team titles? They just got to Charlotte and Alexa. I'm not taking them off Charlotte and Alexa just yet. Thank you guys for a great stream, man. There wasn't really a lot to talk about. But I'm glad you guys joined me tonight. We'll do it again tomorrow, man. TNT, the Solid Monster Night will be live. 8:30 p.m. right here on the channel, man. We got a lot to talk about. Karrion Kross. We got AEW Backstage Heat. We got Clash in Paris. Hulk Hogan's funeral. We got a lot to go over tomorrow night, man. Join me then with the Solid Monster, 8:30 p.m. Tuesday Night Titans. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, leave me a comment down below, and go check out today's Cross video. Well worth your time. Thank you guys very much. I'll see you back tomorrow night live for Tuesday Night Titans. I'll see you guys later.